Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. I want to talk about the second half of the season for the Indiana Pacers because All-Star Weekend is over. Regardless of what you thought about it, okay, there was aspects of it that were good, there were aspects of it that were bad, but I thought it was a really, really good showing, specifically just for the Indiana Pacers, right? And we play Detroit next. NBA games resume tomorrow, Thursday, February 22nd. And I'm going to be honest, Toronto gave us a little bit more of a run for our money than I would have liked. We only beat them by one basket. You know, it was 127 to 125. But I'm going to be expecting a lot in the second half of the season. I'm going to call it what it is, okay? I'm going to start holding some players accountable. And the reason I say that is because we're a team that could be as low as 8th and as high as maybe even the 2nd seed in the East if shit is going really well, right? And there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be a lot of adaptation. You know, we got rid of Buddy Hield, so now Ben Mathurin's going to hopefully get those minutes. I would assume so. Doug McDermott's good, but he's still going to be a bench player. He's not a starter really by league standards anymore. I don't really know if he really ever was, but it's just the idea. We got a lot of young guys on this roster. And going into the second half of the season, we're going to need him to step up. Specifically Ben Mathurin. And my problem with Ben Mathurin is we get moments, right? We get moments where we see what Ben Mathurin is capable of. You know, his first game against LeBron, you know, before the game comes out and, you know, he's the dude that when he got drafted is like, LeBron's going to have to show me he's the best player in the league. And in his first game against LeBron, held his own. Then we got Ben Shepherd, who looks like he's going to be very good defensively. Like, I would argue Ben Shepherd, with a little bit more experience under his belt, is going to be the next 6th man or the next starting 2-guard. And I can't believe I'm saying that. That's incredibly high praise for Ben Shepherd, and that's considering what Ben Mathurin is capable of. Ben Shepherd, when he was drafted, I think we all knew was the Buddy Hield replacement. Okay, I said that as soon as he was drafted. I was like, Ben Shepherd's Buddy Hield's replacement. People got on my ass about it, but the writing was on the fucking wall, okay? Like, we knew we weren't keeping Buddy Hield, especially for the amount of money that he wanted. There was not a snowball's chance in hell that we were keeping Buddy Hield. I know there's Pacers fans that are still irate about it, but that's the fact of the matter, okay? We were not keeping Buddy Hield unless he was going to take what he's actually worth league value-wise. You know, we're gone are the days of, you know, 2016 and 2017 and 2018 where just because you shoot a three-pointer means you're worth $70 to $80 million, okay? Those days are gone. Everybody in the fucking league shoots three-pointers now. So having a guy on your team who is only good at that is not super beneficial anymore, especially when that doesn't necessarily dominate the league. So, you know, especially with the end of James Harden's reign and Steph Curry's reign, like, we're falling back to earth slowly but surely, okay? The other side of this is Jarris Walker. Jarris Walker's a guy if Rick does not give Jarris Walker more minutes in the second half of the season, when our schedule is, I believe, like in the top 5 for easiest schedules in the league for the second half of the year, I'm going to be fucking irate, okay? We've seen what Jarris Walker can do in the G League. He's another guy where we see when he's given an opportunity, he can be very good. I want more Jarris Walker. I want more Ben Shepherd. I want more Ben Mathurin. You could give or take me more or less on Andrew Nembhard, because Andrew Nembhard seems like he's in a sophomore slump this year a little bit. He's an okay defender, but when it comes to handling the fucking ball, it's just he's like a ball in a china shop. So Ben Mathurin, our young guys, Ben Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker, I'm looking to see growth. That's what I want. That's all I want. Okay, I just want to see them get minutes and grow. That's all I want to see in the second half of the season. I want to see Ben Mathurin start to become the guy that we all know and think he can be. Because I'm going to keep it a buck with you boys, okay? We now have Siakam. Siakam's going to get a max deal. If we're going to go forward and be a legitimate, like, put ourselves in the contention conversation, Ben Mathurin's going to have to do a lot of growing and do it relatively fucking quick, okay? He's got the second half of this season and maybe all of next season, and if he doesn't show some significant improvement, do not be surprised if the team decides to start going in another direction. Usually by year 3 is when you know what you got in these young guys. Okay? By year 3, you know what Ben Mathurin is going to be. You're going to know what Jarris Walker is going to be, Ben Shepherd, all these guys, right? If Ben Mathurin doesn't make that leap, you know, don't say I didn't tell you so. If that day arises, I hope it doesn't. I hope Ben works his ass off this summer. I hope he finishes out the season strong, and, you know, we can just, you know, going into after next season, pay him, you know, the money we think he's gonna be worth. But he's a guy you gotta watch out for, because here's the thing, right? This is the other side of the coin. I'm gonna be honest. As much as I would like to see Paul George back in a Pacers jersey, this is a guy with a player option for $45 million. Paul George would have to really fucking really want to be an Indiana Pacer again to turn down that player option. Now, contract negotiations with the Clippers do not seem like they're going very well. I don't know when the NBA contract extension deadline is off the top of my head, but I do know it's around the corner. And if he doesn't sign an extension with the Clippers, that player option, he could deny that and become an unrestricted free agent. And if he becomes an unrestricted free agent, if he wanted to sign with the Pacers, he would have to take like a mid-level exception deal to be a part of it. And I don't know if Paul George would be willing to do that. I understand he's 33 years old. He maybe wants his bread. But on the other side of the coin, this is a guy who's made an ass ton of money in his career. And, you know, he's set for life at this point. And if he's not, he's horrible at managing fucking money. But I would like to say that the odds of Paul George coming here are, you know, a little more generous than we would like to admit, but I'm going to tell you right now, the max percentage I think Paul George comes to Indy is like maybe, I don't know, a 25% chance. Because while we haven't gotten anything concrete, he has been doing a lot of talking about Indiana. You know, there's rumors about retiring the jersey. He's saying, I haven't played there enough, so maybe he does want the Pacers to retire his jersey. I don't fucking know. But the fact of the matter is, the rumor is out there, but don't put a whole lot of merit in it. Because even if we wanted to do a sign and trade with the Los Angeles Clippers, it's probably going to have to include a guy like Ben Mathurin and Miles Turner and just, I would like to say a sign and trade is impossible, by the way, with Paul George, but it's the NBA. Anything is fucking possible. I didn't think that the Nets would end up with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, and somehow they managed to do it. So as much as I would like to say it's impossible that we land Paul George, I'm not counting it out, whether it's through free agency or whether it's through a sign and trade, right? Because we could do a sign and trade with another player potentially to do a swap of Paul George for X player so that the Clippers get something back for him if he does want to be a Pacer again. So, stranger things have happened. I'm just letting you know. I know there's going to be people in the comment section who are like, oh, Paul George isn't coming back. Paul George is going here. Paul George is going there. Stranger things have fucking happened. Okay? So, it's just the idea that while that isn't entirely in play, it's an avenue. That's all I'm going to say. Even though it's not the greatest looking avenue, we don't even think there's maybe a light at the end of that fucking tunnel if it, you know, even if Paul George wants to come back, but you never know. So that's the deal with that. So I need Ben Mathurin to be on his fucking, you know, I need to become a star or they might trade me bullshit the next year and a half. And I do think, I will say this, I do think Benedict Mathurin's going to grow a lot. You know, I know people are down on him. People don't like it when people criticize Benedict Mathurin. The Benedict Mathurin fans are quickly becoming Miles Turner like level fans, okay, where it's like if you say anything bad about him, people come out with their pitchforks and start complaining and whining. But it's just the idea, he's a young player. I understand you need to be patient with young players, but by year 3, okay, if the guy's not really what you expect by year 3, at that point you have to start developing patience, and the Pacers don't have it at the current point in time. The next thing is with Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. I think like that duo is going to get better. I'm just going to let you know. Like, through the rest of the season, I understand the schedule's pretty weak. I feel like that was also a big reason why we looked to capitalize on Pascal Siakam at the trade deadline and, you know, get him involved before the trade deadline and not do it at the trade deadline, because it gave him some time to really get acclimated with everybody on the team and the offense and how we do shit. But there's a lot that's got to go right. I'm just going to let you know. Like, for us to really be a serious threat in the East, a lot's got to go right. Ben Matherin's got to grow. Shepard's got to grow. Walker's got to grow. And Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam have to be fucking phenomenal for the next 40 games of the season. Obviously, they're not going to be perfect. They're going to drop a game here and there. But with how weak our schedule is in the second half of the season, we got to come out and capitalize, okay? We can't fuck around with the Knicks, okay? Like, if like the Knicks with the whole Julius Randle situation, if we play them before he comes back, we have to take full fucking advantage, okay? What Damian Lillard did to Tyrese Halliburton during the All-Star weekend, I felt disrespected, if I'm being honest with you. I feel like Damian Lillard went into the three-point contest and the All-Star game with the notion in his head that Tyrese Halliburton's not the best point guard in the East, and I'm going to show these fucking people why. So I expect Tyrese Halliburton to be next fucking level for the next 40 games, because I want Tyrese Halliburton, even though he is very good, I would argue he's better than Damian Lillard in the East right now as far as a complete point guard who's getting shit done. I would argue he's better. Maybe not a better shooter, or a scorer, but I think Tyrese Halliburton is at the very least in the fucking conversation. So I expect this team to come out with a fucking vengeance, okay? This is your chance, right? Like, I understand, you know, we're, one wheel short of a buggy, but it's just the idea. This is a team that the second half of the season, if they want to make a serious playoff push and really start impressing free agents, now's the time. Now's the time to do it. You know, you have an easy schedule. Get the highest fucking seed that you can, and that way your first round of the playoffs is against a team that's maybe not that great. I mean, it's time. It's time, boys. I'm going to tell you right now, like, this is where shit starts getting real. This is where you determine who is going to be on your team for the next, 2 to 3 years and who isn't. So I just want you guys to understand that, whether it's Ben Mathurin, Miles Turner, Jalen Smith, okay, this is where shit starts to get real. This is where we're going to see, who's going to get paid this summer and who the fuck's going to get traded. Because even though our roster, a lot of people like some of the guys on the roster, I'm just going to let you know. Okay, we got a lot of guys on expiring deals, and, Siakam's on an expiring deal, okay, Doug McDermott is on an expiring deal, Obi Toppin's on an expiring deal, Jalen Smith is on an expiring deal, Isaiah Jackson is on an expiring deal. Actually, if I'm correct, Benedict Mathurin has a team option, which, yeah, Benedict Mathurin has a team option, so we're gonna pick that up, obviously. But Isaiah Jackson, he's got a team option. He's got a team option that we picked up, so he'll be on the team next year. But like Isaiah Wong, Oscar Tshiebwe, Kendall Brown, like all of these guys are guys that could either be on the roster or could be on their way out of town at the end of the season. Miles Turner even. Miles Turner's got 2 years left on his deal. He's a guy that, if he doesn't play well, could be traded in the offseason. Any guy with 2 years left on their deal is up for fucking trade. I understand Miles has been a little better since we got Pascal Siakam, but Miles is not safe. TJ McConnell's not even safe. He's got 2 years left on his deal. If there's anyone on our team with 2 years or less left on their deal, just understand they could be on their way out of town. That's all I'm saying. So, I know that's not going to be a narrative people want to hear, but this is what happens in the NBA. Once you decide you're pushing all in, once this is your move, all your chips are in the middle of the table, there's no more room for fucking around. Okay? Like, we can't have these inconsistent games out of Miles Turner anymore where, one game he's putting up 20 and 12 and then the next game he's putting up 8 and 8. Right? I constantly bring it up all the time that Miles Turner has never outplayed Joel Embiid in the time that they've been competing against each other. We can't have that. Okay? Like, Miles Turner's gonna have to grow up a lot too. I understand he's a 9-year veteran. He's the most seasoned player on this team as far as a vet that's been here longer than anybody. But even Miles is gonna have to adjust to playing with Pascal Siakam and start, being aggressive on the boards, boxing people out, going aggressive after rebounds, right? And he's been doing more of that recently, but it's just the idea, playtime is over. That's all I'm saying. That's the whole purpose of this video. I'm not looking to, single people out, really, but we're at that point. We are now officially at the point where shit starts getting real. We can't lose to Detroit. I'm just going to let you know. We play Detroit next. They're our next game. I think, when do we play them? We play them tomorrow. Do we play them tomorrow night or Friday night? I'm actually curious now. I kind of want to look this up because I'm curious to when this game. Yeah, we play them tomorrow night, okay? We can't be losing these fucking games anymore to Charlotte, Detroit, San Antonio, Washington. Okay, we can't be losing to bottom feeders anymore. I would say even the Chicago Bulls, we can't be losing to fucking Chicago. There's zero reason why we can go out there and beat the Bucks 4 out of 5 games, but we can't beat the fucking Hornets. We can't beat the Pistons. We can't beat the Wizards. We can't beat the Trailblazers. Okay, these bottom teams, these bottom feeders, we need to start putting them in the fucking ground. Okay, it's time for shit to get serious. So, I understand this video was maybe, a little more intense than usual. I'm doing a lot of criticizing, and people don't like that, but I'm just letting you know. The shit's about to hit the fan, and if people don't do the right thing, it's going to hit everybody in the fucking room. So, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.